The Biden administration and TikTok are working on an agreement that would let the video sharing site keep operating in the US. But Bloomberg's learned that talks have stalled over concerns the company's Chinese ownership poses a national security threat, according to sources. If an agreement is reached, it could impose more restrictions on how TikTok stores data from US users. Meanwhile, TikTok has stepped up its lobbying efforts in DC, but has had little engagement with Republican naysayers, Bloomberg Businessweek reports. Joining me now, Bloomberg's Alex Barinka, Adam Kovacevich, Chamber of Progress CEO. Alex, I'm going to start with you. What is your latest reporting about talks between the US government and TikTok?
That's right. This is to allay concerns around U.S. users' data, particularly in regards to Chinese government, which China is where TikTok's parent company is based. So far in these negotiations, TikTok has said that they're going to partner with Oracle to route all U.S. users' data through their servers. They're also going to allow Oracle to audit its algorithms and its content moderation policies. Now, the hiccup, Ed, has come in because the deal still needs to kind of get over the line. CFIUS is the governmental body that's investigating it. It is an interagency body, and the Justice Department in particular, the individual who is on that panel for the Justice Department, is still concerned that this deal does not go far enough to keep data out of the hands of the Chinese government, Ed. So that seems to be the sticking point, according to our reporting, that is dragging this process on perhaps a little bit longer than TikTok would like.
Adam, you're the CEO of the Chamber of Progress, and one of the goals of the Chamber of Progress is to make the tech industry act fairly and responsibly, particularly towards consumers. So when you hear Alex go through the latest reporting, is this good news or bad news?
I'm not sure we've ever seen a service like TikTok before that has become so popular with Americans and yet is owned by the Chinese. And that's a unique problem and challenge for government policymakers. Alex talked about the concessions that are on the table in terms of the company's negotiations with the Biden administration. I'm not sure any of those conditions really solve this question of Chinese government access access so long as TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. The Chinese are almost certainly going to have access to American user data no matter where it's stored. They don't come in through the front door. They come in through the back door. That's just the reality of how China operates. And as far as the Oracle, supposed audit, look, Oracle's on the verge of having a massive cloud hosting deal with TikTok, right? They're going to have a financial incentive to look the other way regarding China's control. And Oracle's not a branch of the U.S. government. It's obligated to do what's best for its business. So I think I think that one of the big questions surrounding this, as you said, some of the Biden administration figures involved, I think, are doubting whether this is tough enough. And frankly, I think there's a concern that if they do a partial compromise on certain aspects of their business that doesn't really get at the fundamental national security and even propaganda concerns, that could be seen as avoiding the bigger, deeper issues that TikTok poses.
Alex, the talks between TikTok and the US government are kind of the here and now, but you've got a fantastic piece in Bloomberg Businessweek magazine about the kind of bigger picture efforts of TikTok. And I'm going to bring up a chart on the screen now that kind of shows how TikTok's kind of stepping up and ByteDance, its parent company, in its lobbying efforts, but they're nowhere near what Meta, the parent company of Facebook's doing. Talk us through what you've learned.
Yeah, they are nowhere near, but TikTok did clock its biggest quarter in terms of lobbying spend. And my colleague and I wanted to take you guys behind the scenes a little bit to see what's going on in D.C. with TikTok's efforts to charm the Beltway. What we learned from a mix of sources in D.C. around the company is that they've taken 130 meetings with congressional offices. The TikTok CEO, we heard last week, was even at a football game of lawmakers versus the Capitol Police. But Ed, there's a really important group of folks that they are not meeting with. We heard that McCarthy and Steve Scalise in the House, the key Republicans in the House, Josh Hawley and Marco Rubio in the Senate, these senators, all Republicans who have been really large detractors and have approached the company with a lot of skepticism, have been notably left off the formal meeting lists for the company. Now, the company told us that they are having productive conversations with lawmakers. They said they are not meeting with folks who seem to be unswayed by facts. So, Ed, read into that what you may, but it does seem that TikTok's charm offensive has missed some of the biggest detractors in the Beltway.
Right.
And I'll tell you, if this CFIUS deal doesn't go through, or if it drags on and these voices continue to get louder, it could cause some problems for them as they're trying to kind of resolve some of these really big concerns and get this deal over the line.
Adam, what's your reaction to what you've just heard about TikTok's lobbying efforts?
Look, there's no doubt I live here in Washington. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to highlight the ways people are using TikTok. They're trying to portray themselves as good citizens. I'd probably do the same if I were them. I'm sympathetic to the U.S. employees of TikTok who currently, frankly, have to spend a lot of time dancing on the head of a pin about the Chinese government's role in the app and their Chinese ownership. I don't think there's any doubt that their jobs as lobbyists and as a company would be much easier. And frankly, that our national security concerns would be a lot less if TikTok were sold to an American owner. But of course, that's a big challenge. I mean, I think officials in Beijing know what a powerful platform this is. You've got 1.4 billion people on TikTok. I think the reason they don't let Chinese citizens use TikTok, I think that's a recognition of how powerful it is. But we know the Chinese government is in the business of spreading propaganda online. They did this during the Olympics. They've done this with influencers. And so I think there's beyond even the question of data access, there is a big question about, is TikTok like the next version of RT, which we kicked out of this country after Russia invaded Ukraine?
Right. Much to discuss still. Bloomberg's Alex Barinka and Chamber of Progress founder and CEO Adam Kovacevich, thank you both.